Alright, I'm finally heading back off on another international trip after 2.5 years. So I thought I'd just jump in and say hello to my new subscribers and apologies to my existing subscribers for the delay in videos. However, I'll explain what the hell happened with the whole Jetstar issue for the trip, or this trip that I was supposed to be going on a month ago. So yeah, I was supposed to be flying on JQ7, Melbourne up to Singapore, then Singapore over to Kuala Lumpur. However, my flight was delayed 10 hours, which to be honest wasn't going to be a problem because, you know, I wasn't in any rush by any means. This trip was mainly just so I could film some videos and enjoy a bit of a trip away. But anyways, what ended up happening was I went online. I couldn't actually change anything with my flights. I had to call someone up. The only thing I could do was change to the following day. But there wasn't anything about the second leg of my trip, Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, which was also with Jetstar. So I called them up and they pretty much told me that the only thing I can do is change all the flights together. I can't, for instance, I couldn't fly directly to Singapore and then they could get me onto like a later flight over to Kuala Lumpur. Not possible, had to be all changed together. And to be honest, on the phone it wasn't too great. The customer service wasn't the best. They pretty much no sympathy whatsoever, no empathy, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. And yeah, they pretty well told me that you can change to the following day because at this stage it looks like it's going ahead. So yeah, I told them that if you look over the last month, at least 4 days out of the week have either been delayed or cancelled. So the likelihood of me actually being able to do the trip was very slim. Yeah, they said I could change to the following day, but I ended up cancelling because there's just no point. And I was right because the following day was a Friday and that flight was delayed another 10 hours as well. So, but yeah, it would have totally stuffed with my plans and it just wasn't going to be possible. So I ended up having to can the whole trip, to be honest, lose a bit of money and just hope that I could do it in the future. And thankfully, a month later, I'm actually able to do it. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, definitely some emotional damage. I won't do that accent with saying that. On JQ985, flying on JQ779, JQ763, 770, Jetstar, JQ782, Jetstar flight. Okay, so today I'm flying on QF730 over to Sydney. That's just this video. Then I'm going to be heading onwards to Singapore later this afternoon. But anyways, I've got to get through security because I'm kind of late. My Uber didn't arrive for a little bit, so I'll talk to you in a sec. Right, well, that was a crazy rush. The airport is so full this morning. I've honestly never seen it that busy. The queues were just about out the front door, and thankfully I went to the international connections desk and they rushed me through. And I pretty much come straight here and it's already boarding. But I have a feeling we're going to be waiting a little while because there's tons of people out there, so they won't be able to leave until then. So today I'm flying on VH-VYF in seat 21F. So this aircraft also has in-flight Wi-Fi, which is a plus, but no seatback entertainment, which to be honest is quite rare for flights from Adelaide, at least from my experience, as I've only had that a few times in the past, and usually was always the early morning departures. The customer service manager informed us that someone was unable to board today, hence they needed to get their luggage off the plane for security reasons, and this delay ended up putting us 30 minutes behind schedule for departure. But thankfully I have a 3.5 hour layover in Sydney before my Singapore flight.
When Qantas brought the world closer together. Welcome to Australia. Take a moment to locate.
as this flight had in-flight Wi-Fi. After checking Flight Radar 24, I noticed we were racing VA 401 over to Sydney, which took off 2 minutes before the flight I'm on. Breakfast service commenced 30 minutes into the flight, and other passengers had the option to have a bacon, cheese and spinach quiche. However, I'm happy with a nice healthy apple, so it's nice that I'm accommodated for, or have an option on this short flight with something that's gluten-free as a celiac. "57 minutes into the flight, we began our descent into Sydney. However, the captain announced that traffic control have placed us into a holding pattern as the airspace is quite busy in Sydney this morning, which will add another 30 minutes to our trip. Cabin crew came around with waters and said thank you for your patience, which was a nice gesture, as in a few trip reports time, you'll see the difference in airlines and service they have on board when it came across delays, cancellations, and aircraft changes. Today's holding pattern has us at 22,000 feet in a clockwise oval with a number of other aircraft, including VA 401, we have been racing over since Adelaide. Finally, it was our turn to make our final descent into Sydney and line up for landing on runway 34 left. So although we are slightly behind schedule, as mentioned previously, I've given myself a good 3.5 hour buffer for my international flight today, so if anything, I've enjoyed the holding pattern to view some extra aircraft and kill some time before boarding QF81 later today. Thanks for watching me on today's trip report over to Sydney, as I begin my trip overseas to Singapore, Kuala Lumpur and Penang. Hopefully you can join me for the next leg of my journey on flight QF81, which will be online back on my usual Tuesday schedule next week. And if you're not subscribed to my channel and enjoy this kind of content, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of my new uploads. But until next week, thanks for watching and all the best.